For today's episode of Nintendo Switch games to buy before they become rare and expensive, I'll be covering 11 different games, some of which have already begun to become sought after and a bit hard to find. But the first game that I have to talk about is Capcom Fighting Collection 2. Now, I actually felt stupid for not pre-ordering this game myself because it sold out everywhere really fast. Now, I don't know if that's because there was that kind of demand for it, or maybe there just wasn't enough copies printed, or probably a combination of the two. But this game is really cool because it does come with a comic of Capcom versus SNK, and it's a pretty thick-sized comic actually, which is really cool. But this collection features Power Stone 1 and 2, which I know arcade fighting fans make a big deal about. I've actually never played any of these games, and I'm actually really looking forward to doing so because I did play the Capcom Fighting Collection 1 for the Nintendo Switch. This is a really fantastic game. Introduced me to the Darkstalker series, and I highly recommend just picking up this game, even if you just casually like arcade fighting games like I do. This compilation, collection, whatever you want to call it, is absolutely fantastic. And the first game actually was becoming pretty expensive after the second game got announced. I know Video Games Plus did reprints for it. They got reprints. And I think there might have just been like an overall general reprint that went up on Amazon. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the price on this one did go down for now. But either way, the Capcom Fighting Collection and Capcom Fighting Collection 2 are two games that I could definitely see going up in price over time. And if you just want a good recommendation for some really good fighting games, I highly recommend these games. Even though I haven't played the second one yet, I played the first collection. Awesome games on there, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking the second one out now. The third game that I have to talk about on today's episode is actually a combination of two games which I own separately, but recently got a double pack, but it is an import version. It's only available for an Asian English version of this game, and it is a combination of Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 all on one cartridge. I haven't played these games, but I do own them because I've heard that they're fantastic classic style turn-based RPGs. And actually the first one alone was getting expensive at one point for the Nintendo Switch, but this new double pack has become highly sought after. They're selling copies of this thing for like $100 or more on eBay. I don't recommend buying it there because I know Video Games Plus has been selling pre-orders of copies for this game, or maybe you could even find it on Play Asia. I just recommend trying to find it at retail price. And another disclaimer that I just want to add in this video is don't buy these games thinking you're going to get rich off of them. Don't let the FOMO get the best of you. Just buy them if you're actually interested in playing or collecting them. The fourth game on today's episode is one that I was actually kind of mildly interested in, but it was actually a couple of my YouTube friends, FemTrooper and Infernal Fox Gaming, who convinced me to pick up Kaze and the Wild Masks because they just kept talking and praising this game so much, saying it's just a really fantastic Donkey Kong Country style game. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing this one. I'll probably get around to just playing it this year because it's been a while since I really went in on a 2D platformer. I think the last 2D platformer I really played all the way through was Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So yeah, this is one that I am excited for, and it's still going for around 40 bucks retail. I don't really see it getting any cheaper. If anything, this is another game that I could see getting more rare and expensive over time, especially because of the fact that it seems to be kind of a hidden gem for the Nintendo Switch. CD Projekt Red has definitely gotten some great publicity recently for talking about how they really value the physical release on Nintendo platforms by putting Cyberpunk 2077 all on a Nintendo Switch 2 cartridge. But before that, they did something similar for the Nintendo Switch. They were one of the only companies to put a full game on a 32 gigabyte cartridge with The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt Complete Edition, This game has all the DLC, everything, all on one cartridge. I hear this is one of the best open world action RPG experiences that there is on the Nintendo Switch. This is considered one of those kind of miracle AAA ports that people thought would never even be able to run on the Switch. And I recently picked up this complete edition that comes with, you know, like the cardboard and the inserts, all the little collectibles, for around $30. But I could definitely see this game getting more rare and expensive over time, just because it's all on the cartridge, and I think that will definitely be valued by collectors, and it is one of the biggest and best AAA games on the Nintendo Switch as well. Before I go on to the next pick, I just want to ask, if you're enjoying this video, please be sure to drop a like on it, and if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. The next game is Castle Crashers Remastered, and I have talked about this in a previous episode, but I just wanted to bring it up again because it's not the most common Switch game to find at all. A while back, the only way to get it without buying it from resellers who were selling it for really expensive prices was to buy it directly from the developers, publishers, the behemoth. And this is a classic, beloved 2D action beat 'em up. I haven't played it yet. I need to get around to playing this one. Shout out to J to the OE, or Joe Eats Games on YouTube, because he put me onto this game. He was talking about it on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. But I also do believe that Video Games Plus has copies of this game, so you may want to check their site. That's another option to buy it from. Just don't go paying some ridiculous price from some resellers on eBay, because I believe you can at least get this from Video Games Plus right now. And speaking of beat 'em ups, we got this really cool beat 'em up collection here in North America called the Capcom Beat 'em Up Bundle, that is only available digitally, but you can buy the Asian English import version titled the Capcom Belt Action Collection. And this one is going now for around 40 to 50. A while back, it was going for around 30. There is kind of like a greatest hits version, best price version that's going for a little bit cheaper. So that is an option as well, but it has like a big border around where the cover doesn't look as cool. That's still not a big deal. But this collection does feature some really cool arcade beat 'em ups that are definitely worth playing for beat 'em up fans. So if you want a physical copy of the Capcom Beat 'em Up Bundle or the Capcom Belt Action Collection in Japan, I highly recommend picking this one up sooner than later, because the prices only seem to be going up and not down. The next game is one that I have talked about on the channel before, but I've never put it in this series of Nintendo Switch games to buy before they become rare and expensive. And that game is Mario vs. Donkey Kong. This is a remake of the Game Boy Advance game. It plays great, looks great. I had a blast playing through this game. It even has co-op, and I truly feel that when it comes to first-party games on the Nintendo Switch, this game is definitely slept on, and I would even label it as a hidden gem on the Nintendo Switch. It did sell fairly well for Nintendo, I think close to 1-2 million, something like that, but it isn't a game that you see out in the wild all too often. It isn't the most common Nintendo Switch game, and because it did come out kind of as a hidden gem, kind of toward the end of the Switch life cycle, I could definitely see this one getting more rare and expensive over time, and even replacing the Game Boy Advance version as the most expensive version of this game, because let's be real, more people are collecting for the Nintendo Switch than they are for the Game Boy Advance. But just to talk a little bit more about this game, I know it's not the big, typical 2D Super Mario adventure, but the stages are a lot of fun. It's basically a puzzle platformer. The boss battles where you fight Donkey Kong are a lot of fun as well. It's challenging. It gets more challenging the further you go. It starts off pretty easy and simple, eases you into it. But I just recommend this game just from a gameplay perspective. If you like puzzle platformers, definitely check it out. The next game on today's episode is one that has definitely kind of went under the radar as far as 3D platformers go on the Nintendo Switch, and that game is PacMan World Repack. This is a really good kind of remaster remake of the first Pac-Man World game. It looks great, runs great on the Nintendo Switch, but you will want to go into the settings and put on the performance mode so it can have a better and more stable frame rate. I haven't fully played through this one, but from what I did play, I did enjoy my time with it. This is one that I should get back to and beat, but I just feel like this game kind of really goes under the radar. I'm not sure how many copies of it were printed, but I feel like this game could possibly go up in price over time. I don't think they're printing copies for it anymore, and it kind of is maybe a hidden gem on the Switch, actually. With the sequel coming soon for the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2, I could definitely see Hades becoming more expensive, because a lot of times when a game gets a sequel, people will start getting into the series and want to get the first game. I've seen that happen with several other games that I've covered in this series. And this is a beloved action game, a beloved action roguelike game, one that I definitely need to get around to playing really soon, because I've heard nothing but high praise for Hades. And then the final game on today's episode is one that I have talked about in a previous episode as well, but it's been a while. And if you're into game collecting and you know about Atlas and you know about Vanillaware, you know a lot of their past games have definitely gotten really expensive over time and even hard to find, not the most common games. And I just want to talk about 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim again, because I've heard nothing but high praises for this game as well, that it's a phenomenal game and that it's basically kind of a mesh between a visual novel and a kind of tower defense RPG. I know the art style looks gorgeous. I've heard the story is phenomenal. And, you know, after, you know, when it's all said and done and these games aren't being printed anymore, Atlas, Vanillaware are definitely ones to keep an eye on. But anyway, I really appreciate you all so much for watching this latest episode of Nintendo Switch games to buy before they become rare and expensive. Don't forget to drop a like on this video, and if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until the next time, I will catch you all later.